Dude. What's up, Sean?
So you're given a magic wand. You're given a magic wand. You can change any school rule in the entire Two Rivers. What's it gonna be?
Dude, the 10-minute rule is ridiculous. God forbid somebody needs to use the bathroom within the first or last 10 minutes of class. Like, that's a ridiculous rule. And I don't even think it's that effective, because if kids are going to skip, they're going to skip, right? It's not doing anything. So, Dr. Johnson, please don't make the future generations of Two Rivers students have to go through this horrible, horrible, horrible experience that we did.
What's your favorite
Oh,
part?
hey, Sean.
What's your favorite part of the autumn season? Just sort of your favorite sort of thing that happens in autumn, whether that be Halloween or...
Well, I do cross country, and fall is, I don't know, cross country to me embodies everything about fall. Like, it's a time of change, right? We train for an off season to try and, perform our best in the season, but we sort of transition away from building mileage to running like faster stuff. And so I think fall to me just signifies change, and it's also, it's my favorite season because the weather's great, everybody seems to be in a chipper mood. I love hanging out with my friends during the fall, especially on runs, like just hearing like leaves crunch beneath my feet. Like, I don't know, it's such a small thing, but it means so much to me. Hello, Sean.
What do you like most about running?
So this was the easy section. I think that running is the first thing where I really gave myself the ability to go all in on something. Like, it was the first thing that I dedicated a very, very significant amount of time to. And I think the first thing that I really cared about, I've cared, I cared about my other sports and other activities that I've done, but like, I invested into running. And I think just seeing that discipline and constant practice and working towards something does pay off eventually, I think that's something that's really cool, because I was just like a whatever JV runner my freshman year, and now I'm one of the faster guys on the team, and it just, even aside from that, just like seeing personal growth, you learn a lot on everyday runs, you learn a lot about yourself in a race, you learn what you're capable of, and I think running's taught me that there's always more to go get.
If your personality were a mix of two teachers, who would they be?
I would say it's a mix of Mr. McCarthy and Mr. Klusnick. I would say I can be pretty sarcastic and maybe a little bit mean when I'm like with my friends, like in a lighthearted way, but I think I see that in myself. And he's a pretty social guy, so I like to think that I'm pretty social. And then I would say Mr. Klusnick, because I think simply because he's my coach, and because he picked an activity that I also enjoy. Like, you're bound to meet someone who is similar somewhat to you. So he just happens to be my coach, and I think that we both, have pretty similar like views and logic and interests. Like, I don't know, some of the majors that I've considered are things that he went to school for, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I don't know whether he likes it or not. Like social sciences, so like he majored in economics and minored in philosophy, and I think both of those things are pretty interesting. I don't know, I think I do see a little bit of similarity there. Oh, nice to see you again, Sean.
What would surprise middle school you most about your life today?
Oh, that I'm in 3 sports. I was a hardcore nerd in middle school, and still think I'm like a part-time hardcore nerd, but I did, and complete love to the people who do like robotics and like math team and stuff like that. Like I did robotics in middle school. I was in like Live Green Club. Robotics team made it to state, got finalists by the way. So shout out Giant Blue Picnic Tables, 7th grade team. Those were the goats. But yeah, I would say that I do 3 varsity sports, because that's just not a pathway that I would have expected myself to go down. Yeah, I think it was just a shift that happened my freshman year when I decided to try out running, and I guess not to be like corny, but I ran with it, and I did like 3 aerobic sports, and they all require a pretty similar skill set. So if you're decent at one, you're decent at the other too. So. We keep seeing each other like this, Sean.
Who understands you best for who you are?
God damn, bro. I would say Garrett Alkema. I have like my close friends that I hang out with, and he's one of them. But I think he reads me like a book. Sometimes I'm kind of upset about that, because like, it's like, man, am I really that obvious? Is it that obvious to tell like what I'm gonna say or what I'm gonna do? But he's a smart guy, and so I think he's good at reading people in general. So I think if you ask that question to a bunch of other people, he would also be the answer. I'm coming out of ways to say hello to you.
Who or what has had the biggest influence on your personal growth?
Man. Well, that's a hard question, because I would say myself, right? Like, your personal growth is, whether you like it or not, it's intrinsic, right? Like, in order for you to grow as a person, you need to decide to make a change, and that comes from within, right? There's external forces that have an influence on it, but I would say myself. But if I had to pick like a person who I think has like influenced my growth the most, probably once again be my coach, Mr. Klusnick, just because like, he's my teacher also, so I spend a lot of my day with him, and the activities that I do are ones that require me to challenge and push myself. So he motivates me and everyone else to do that. So I guess I would say him. Well, hello, Sean. It seems we've teleported somewhere else.
What's your biggest takeaway from high school?
I would say my biggest takeaway from high school is that the most important thing on whatever journey you're on is who you're spending it with. I'm very grateful that I found great friends and like great communities and classes that have people who are willing to push themselves or think similarly to me, because when you can surround yourself with people who not only want the best for you, but the best for everybody else around you, it fosters like a really good environment. And so I would say that I would like to continue to try and find groups of people that want to build each other up in my life.
Philosopher.
Okay.
What would you say? Might want to bust out that one.
Yeah. I'll bust it out when I think about it. When I figure, I'm thinking about it. It's not about the road you travel. It's about who you travel with.
What's an aspect of relationships that you still, on occasion, struggle with?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about this a little bit ago. I catch myself both at home and at school being asked a lot of questions, right? Because that's a normal thing to do. It's a normal thing to ask people questions about their life and about what's going on, and to show interest. And I think I personally don't value that as much. And so I still don't mind, being asked questions, but I think because I don't need people to ask me things for me to know that they care about me, it's sometimes hard for me to reciprocate that, because there's a lot of people where your opinion matters, or not even your opinion matters, but you're an important person in a lot of people's lives, and you need to show that you care. You can't just care. And so I care about a lot of people, but I think I really struggle to show it sometimes.
What's a part of yourself that you're still working on accepting? And why is it challenging for you?
Man, that might even be a harder question. I think I think to answer that question, I first need to say that, like, I enjoy pushing myself and putting myself in difficult situations. With that being said, there's a lot of situations that I put myself in that I don't think are the right fit for me, or that I don't think I'm the best at. And so, like, things like this is maybe a stupid example, but like science classes is like, I'll take advanced science classes because I want to, like, convince myself that I understand science really well, or that I can understand science really well, but it doesn't click with me. And I think I just need to accept that, and I think it's important that I accept that I have my own strengths and my own subjects and my own areas of life, but I can't force myself to be interested in, and I can't force myself to be better at something that I'm not. I can continue to try to improve on both of those things, but I can't just be the best at something. What the hell is happening here, bro?
If you could have a conversation with a younger version of yourself, what's one thing you would want to apologize for?
Like something that has happened between that conversation with my younger self and now that I would want to apologize for. I think I would apologize for being indecisive, because I've been indecisive my whole life. Even thinking about this question, like, I didn't know what to say. But I think that trait has led me to both do a lot of things and not do a lot of things. Do a lot of things that I didn't need to do, or that I was trying to fit in so that I didn't have to make a choice between two things. When maybe I shouldn't have. Like, maybe there was a right choice. And I think oftentimes there was.
Is there a situation that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think in general, just like trying to figure out who I was, but not in the way where I was trying to figure out who I was, like, as a normal person does, but I didn't allow myself to be, like, my authentic self, and for a while I wasn't sure if I should be or not. So, when I would be with different groups of people, I would act different ways, and there was this indecisiveness of, is this really an authentic relationship? Are these really, like, my people that I want to be around, or am I sort of putting on this sort of persona, or not being who I actually am? And I never really made a choice to either be who I truly was or not, and so I just, it's left me with kind of a limbo of trying to figure out who I actually am, because I put myself in so many different situations that have created so many different versions of myself that I think sometimes I struggle to like feel authentic. So maybe that is my answer, is that I apologize for not being authentic or figuring out who I actually was, because it's a question that I still ask myself. I mean, at its core, I do know who I am, but I it almost feels like I just have a bunch of masks that I put on with different people, and I think it's normal to act different ways around different people, but maybe it shouldn't be normal to feel that way. So I guess I apologize to my younger self that he's had to feel that way.
If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
Damn, bro. uh, I think I would. Can it be something that I would want to get rid of? Does that count? I think I would want to get rid of um, a lot of very, very normal and very enjoyable, but very wasteful habits that I have. Um, I, I mean, I don't like drink or smoke or anything, um, but like, and maybe this is kind of basic, but like, I feel like I spend so much time in between when I get home from practice and doing the things that I need to do, mindlessly scrolling on my phone or watching like garbage content. Like I've gone through so many videos that I'm just onto like these random things, um, and I think in moderation both of those things are great, and both of those things have their benefits because it's downtime and it's leisure time, but they're also pretty addicting, and I I load myself up with a pretty busy schedule, I think, and so because I end up spending so much time doing those things, I I leave myself either stressing about all the work that I have to do or all the things that I need to get to, or I don't do all of it, which I know that's not me reaching my full potential, or I kind of half-ass some of it, which also is me not reaching my full potential. And it was all for watching like 30-second videos on my phone for like 2 hours. And it's just, I just wish I would change my behavior towards my phone. I think that it's healthy to watch things and to take time for yourself to enjoy doing those things. And I enjoy doing them, so I wouldn't want to give them up completely, but I would want to change the way that I engage with them.
If someone wants to be your friend and connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man, that's like secretly deep. Um, well, I think friends usually have something in common, whether that's, the classes that they take or a sport or activity that they do, or maybe just like a characteristic or a personality trait about themselves. And so I guess I don't really have a good answer to that question, because I wouldn't want somebody to try and do something to be my friend. I would want them to be themselves, and if we happen to be compatible, then that's someone that I would want to, hang out with or engage with. Um, I think something that I really value is people who are true to themselves, which is something that I struggle with myself. And maybe that's what draws me to people who are true to themselves, is like they're so confident in who they are in such a good way, not like a negative way, like they're cocky, but like they know who they are. And I think there's something very um, sturdy and reliable about people who are like that, because they're not afraid to be themselves. And you know that, you know, if that's the person that you want to hang out with, they won't change. Like, you know that that's somebody that you like and that you can hang out with, and there's not a whole lot of debate in the air about, you know, who they actually are. So I think that draws me to people, is people who are themselves. And then like a secondary thing is they just have something in common with me, because if both of those happen, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be your friend.
What's a moment you felt most vulnerable in a conversation, and how did that conversation move your relationship with that person forward?
I would say that I I think that I have the belief that my mom asks me like almost too much about my life, where it feels like I don't really have a whole lot of freedom, or the freedom that I think I've earned. Like, I feel like I've earned, her trust or whatever. And it's not like she doesn't trust me, but it feels very much like an interrogation sometimes when I come home, or when I want to go do something. And I think I continue to have conversations with her about that, and how it, how that makes me feel about her level of trust in me, and um, stuff like that. But I think more, I talk with my dad a lot about it, because, you know, he's the person that knows my mom the most, and so he helps me process things when I talk with him. And when I have conversations with my dad, I'm pretty transparent about my feelings on, you know, the dynamic that I have with my mom. And it's a transparency that I don't think I really show a whole ton, and I can't believe I'm even like sharing it. But like, there's, it feels like she oftentimes says that she wants to listen to what I have to say, and then doesn't. And I express those frustrations to my dad, and that's pretty vulnerable for me, because I'm sort of letting out everything that I feel about a certain situation. Um, and, he always helps me see sort of the other side of the coin. Um, but I think that, and I have those conversations, every so often with my dad. I think that each time it just reminds me that there's somebody out there who gets you. And he's that person, I think, for a lot of my life, because he kind of lets me be sometimes. Um, and I think that space that he allows me to have to grow as an individual is very important. So I feel like because he gives me the space, I can come to him when I want to. And I think that that's an important relationship to have with a person, is someone who doesn't pressure you, but somebody who is there for you still.